Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe race out on Zwift. Today we got 2 laps of the London Loop course for the A's and for the B's and the C's and the D's actually. 29.6 kilometers total, 18.5 miles that these riders are going to be taking on. I've got a little double in the background here. There we go. So and we are live over on Zwift's Facebook. We are live on Mixer, Twitch, as well as YouTube. You can find all the places that we go live over at zwiftcommunitylive.com, as well as our schedule for all of the broadcasts that we do. The A Riders about to get going out on course actually for their race right now, about 8 seconds to the start. If you would like to jump into the broadcast though at all with any of our social media integration, you can do so by tweeting at Z Community Live, and we can bring into the broadcast any of your questions or comments. As we do see Sean Caston here already, I believe just 2 minutes ago, was chatting at us over at the Facebook. Sean Caston saying, "Be happy to get the top half." So we'll be looking for Sean out there to see if he is able to grab into the top half of the race today. So it does look like right from the get-go we do have M. Burton, one to be watching out for here, I believe, usually from the TFC team. I wouldn't expect him to be falling off as they're going by the audience out on course here for their first time underneath the start-finish banner. They'll be collecting power-ups throughout the race out here today, and this is a fully gamified race, as always with KISS rules. It is always allowed to use any of the power-ups at any time out on course. We do have the B category lined up with about 32 racers. I think we saw 48 jumping into the A category here, so there are quite a few jumping into the race today. We do have up toward the front that it will be Turksma here, right along with Iceman. Curly Casson is there, 5.1 watts per kilogram, who was chatting at us just a moment ago about being happy with having a solid result in the top half of the race. So Curly there, Grimshaw there as well. Another one that we're just noticing. Fleetwood has made the lead group. It looks like the initial kick. This hasn't quite got into the point at which we have any kind of serious breaks just yet. But definitely the crazy fast starts that usually start out into that 5-6 watts per kilogram immediately and then settles down as the course does flatten out. Going to go ahead and move back and see who is still trying to get back on terms. We do have Gimme Shelter from out of the USA here, trying to get back on terms with the front end of the group on the go-go Power Rangers, what we call Z-Power sometimes there, 5.0 watts per kilogram. We'll see. I have a feeling that the rest of the riders are going to be needing shelter once he does catch the front of that group. Szynski is there out of Poland in the Ingamba kit, the kit that they've been using with the red and white there for their country colors. This morning we did cover the eCrit series. If you didn't catch that, you can catch a replay of the eCrit East race over on our YouTube. That is going to be youtube.com/Zwift Community Live. And we do have a bunch of social media interaction that did come through there from that this morning. We'll try and bring some of those in as we can. We do have coverage without me in it. Today we do have some updates coming through for some of our overlays and things, but we do have coverage, and we will be doing our best here to be bringing in the coverage of the B race. They're just getting out on course today, it looks like, here with a solid, it looked like 35, 34 racers or so. So we'll definitely be following along with them as they make their way through the 2 laps of the London Loop. Termont, one to be watching out for, that is in and amongst those boys, as well as looking through here for a couple other favorites, maybe A. Brown. Dodsworth, always a name that I do recognize for the win. Bachelor, actually, I think also one that tends to be up toward the front end of those races. So we are bringing in the live results from ZwiftPower.com. 2 laps of the London Loop. It's going to be extremely difficult. 29.6 kilometers. Box Hill being the main thing that these riders need to be watching out for out there, as they are going to be suffering for somewhere between 6 to 10 minutes or so, probably up and over the top for the A, B, C, and D category. These A boys will be doing it right around 6 to 6:15, I think, with the group that has shown up today. Burton will be pushing the pace, I think, up toward the front there, right along with Szerzynski. We do have Wolf in there as well. Looking at past results here, the nice thing about ZwiftPower.com is they have a full history on the right-hand side of the live tab results. I am seeing Casson actually with some W's, at least one, a 7th and a 10th in the last few races that he has done. So I think he says he's happy to be in the top half, but I have a feeling he might have something more than that in the up his sleeve here. Burton now kicking up toward the front with Szerzynski. This is going to be the initial break most likely. Usually this is the section, of course, where a few do fall off. They can't go with this 7-8 watts per kilogram right away. It does look like Szerzynski is able to grab about 1 second, as Fleetwood is following up here at 8.2 watts per kilogram. He's going to go with these boys as well. Looking through here, our Gannon, right along with Casson, as we were talking about. Curly, another one to watch out for, coming out of Australia, having, I believe, an early morning here out on the bike, 157 beats per minute, right along with Iceman out of Germany, able to grab onto the back end of the pack, 143 beats per minute. Give him a shout out here to hang on to this group. And there is the split as we look at Grimshaw here toward the back, 4.1 watts per kilogram, and it looks like 182 beats per minute, just grabbing onto the wheels here. Wolf then 4 seconds back at 145, maybe unable to close things down. Grimshaw, they're just going to come flying by as a freight truck, maybe pull some of these boys right back into contention on the Go-Go Power Rangers and the Zero Heart Rate Monitor. There'll be a few guys throwing their arms in the air. I did hear on the Zwiftcast recently some mention of doing some in-game animations that you can control that might show displeasure. I have a feeling that the boys in the front end of this group might be using that animation right about now, as the others get the Autobus back up toward the front group. Turnbull here now right along with Gaunt. Only a few though, as Wolf was unable to grab onto that wheel. Turnbull going right on by as he got a ton of speed carried into that group. Now it will be Grupo Compacto. Now looking back, it looks like right around, I would say probably 11, 12 riders in this group. TFC represented. There are teams in game. BRT is there as well with our Gannon, it looks like. So TFC, BRT, KISS is also, nope, that does not have a KRT in the name. So Vision represented here with Fleetwood. And it looks like that is the teams that will be represented in the race today. Of course, Team Poland there as well with Szerzynski in the red and white kit. So no teams with more than one man, though, in and amongst this front group. So there won't be too many team tactics. It's kind of like every man riding for himself at this point. We're looking for, is Cartwright racing? Adam Royce is asking. I've not seen Cartwright in the race today. I can actually take a look and see if perhaps there was a showing in the XRS race just before this one. It is something we do want to start adding. I think that it's just a little quiet out there today with Cartwright, at least. We are seeing Lars Martin Heigel, Tony Hodgson, Matthias Rung, Quentin Lefebvre with a 4th place. It looks like Jeff Rooney then with a 5th, Christian Wyden 6th, Felin Mal and Mihail Surboom, Dietrich Westerhoff, and then Fabio Calabria, out of Australia for the top 10 in that race just before this one in the XRS race. No Cartwright looks like out there today looking through. No Cartwright in the last few I do have a little guy, it looks like, here giving some knocks on the door. Lindsay is out for the day. We're supposed to have the Asa oldest as the babysitter, but I have a feeling that this one might be getting in no matter what I try to do to keep him off, as he is really pounding on that door. We are seeing some chats over at the Mixer. Good to have you here. Soylent 2 up, good to see you there. Want to play Zwift, 32 miles per hour. What a rush. How's it going, A New Esta? Moving forward here, then, I'm going to probably have to deal with this. I think I have a 5-year-old who is really, really incessant at this point to try and get in. Okay, it looks like he has been dealt with. That was not thunder, lightning, or fireworks going off on the 4th of July. That was a mica going off on the front, on the door there for just a minute. I always think we just need to have it tweeted at me, the meme of the kids walking in live on, was it MSNBC, correct? I believe that's where it was at. No, excuse me, no, it was BBC. Excuse me, it was on BBC, I believe, right? Where the little guy walked in the background during the chat about the political environment or of the countries. I believe it was in the Middle East. All right, D. England here, 6.4 watts per kilogram, moving his way toward the front, coming out of the U.S. of A. Turksma is there as well, out of the Netherlands. Again, this is a massive multiplayer online called Zwift that has riders actually putting out real power right now. For those that are unfamiliar, I'm seeing the viewership rising over at Mixer, and a lot of times we do get a lot of questions over at the Mixer channel. So these riders are all actual riders in real life that are being controlled by the power that's being put into the actual pedals that they're pushing into right now on their bikes. Their power is being communicated in watts to the game. So as you see in the upper left-hand corner here, we're seeing 377, 416 watts, 176 beats per minute here. Szerzynski is actually putting out 177 beats per minute from his heart rate monitor right now, and 500 watts, 495 watts or so from the power source that he has hooked up to his bike that's being communicated through an ANT plus signal or a Bluetooth signal to either a PC or a Bluetooth iOS signal going to that iOS device he may be running Zwift on, because that's the two platforms that you can do so. Well, you can do iOS, PC, or Mac. And so D. England now making his way to the front, somewhere out of the US of A now with 278 watts, now fading a little bit, 391. He doesn't have a heart rate monitor on. Zwift Power will not allow him to win an A category race without that heart rate monitor, actually. So out of England with 435, not going to be able to get the workout here, but not be able to take the category win. We are seeing the Dutchman here hammering away with the eFondo cycling tips kit on right now, trying to follow the attacks. They're up in that 161 beats per minute or so. Burton is there from the TFC team in that yellow kit, representing, well, 182 or so. He did grab some solid results recently. Looking through here, and I do see that Burton, I believe, has had some better and better results as of recently. Out on Zwift, I'm going to double check his TFC. We are seeing a couple of second places actually. 97 races out on Zwift, and then the Primal Europe Friday Criterium last Friday, he did take a 4th place. The KISS Europe race, this race actually, 7 days ago, he took a 2nd place. So jumping back in here today, he may be able to better that and grab onto a 1st. I have a feeling he may be super motivated to do just that today, as we do talk ZHR up and down back on the 14th of June. That's the one win I'm seeing besides way back on April 26th. So I have a feeling he's going to be super motivated today, maybe to grab that W from the other riders around him. This group is getting split apart now. Casson right along with Fleetwood, Grimshaw, Turnbull, all falling off pace. Now this is the main chase group here with Casson, 4.8 or so, 148 beats per minute. Must be pretty low for a max heart rate. Very consistent there in his power and heart rate output, though, and I think he's just trying to hold on at this point with Fleetwood there at 178, 359 beats per minute. So it looks like Fleetwood there has a little bit of a feather power up, kind of like the green turtle shell there, or other power ups in Mario Kart. You throw those down and it gives you an advantage in game. This one increases Fleetwood's power output by 1 watt per kilogram, or reduces his weight. He was up into that 5.1, 5.5, and now you can see it drop back down to 4.5 or so at the same wattage that you're seeing in the upper left hand corner. On the right hand side of the screen here, you do see 4.4 watts per kilogram, 4.5. You do see all of the actual watts per kilogram they're putting out for their body weight, divided and then divided. Well, they actually divide the watts they're currently putting out by their body weight in kilograms to get that ratio. Turnball here, 5.4 or so, up toward the front now. And as far as the categories go, 5+ watts per kilogram is absolutely crazy for a functional threshold power. That is the power that you can hold for about 1 hour straight. The A category, the expectation is that you are able to hold 4.0 or higher, right around 5+. Anywhere 5+ up in that 6.0. If 6.0 is absolute world champion type, Tour de France winning type. So anywhere in that 4.0 to 6.0 is going to be A category riders. We don't see a whole lot getting anywhere near that 6.0. If we do, they do get double checked on actually by an organization called Zada, community organization, not Zwift direct organization, that volunteers their time to work with A category riders in order to make sure that their power is verified with a strain gauge power meter, the most accurate type of power meter that you can get onto. They send in some files through those strain gauges, power meters actually, to Zada to double check and make sure their power curves are matching what is being shown in game. So we do have, it looks like Gimme Shelter here up to off the front. Now he is on a different kind of power source. So this is without the lightning bolt next to his name, as you can see where my cursor is right here by his flag. There's no little lightning bolt there. D England though, with a lightning bolt here, that means he's either on a smart trainer or a strain gauge power meter, and that actually is the more accurate type of measurement. The Gimme Shelter hooks up. You can hook up to this game through a speed sensor, and you can ride around in the game, do workouts. You can race, obviously, with it as well, but you are unable to win a category or certain category races with just the speed sensor. It is a really easy way to hook up to the game, but it is known as being a fairly inaccurate measurement of power. But as you can see, Gimme Shelter getting a crazy workout, though, as well. On the Z Power up toward the front of this, as that's what it's all about, cycling made social. And these other boys got to chase down Gimme Shelter and are getting even a better workout for it here, but probably suffering pretty good and shaking their heads just a little bit. Strzezinski, though, going out the front with that arrow power up. That's the strongest power up in game, especially on a downhill section, as it does reduce the drag on your avatar over the duration of 30 seconds. And you can see what it's doing to this group here as he makes his way down the opposite side of Box Hill. There is the gaps there. It looks like Burton there 2 seconds back. Gimme Shelter just hanging out in the Sagan Tuck, looking for a little bit of reprieve. 7 seconds back will be Iceman, right along with Palmberg then as well. 4.1 watts per kilogram. D England, that is the main chase group now at this point between these three riders. Iceman there out of Germany. Palmberg coming out of Norway. England there out of the US of A. So looks like Palmberg here 164 beats per minute, trying to bring that heart rate down a little bit as he sits in. 5.2 watts per kilogram, though, to do so. That's not going to be bringing the heart rate down too much. Gimme Shelter now moving backwards, it looks like, in the Sagan Tuck. Gave everything he had maybe on that Go Power Rangers just to hang on. 0 and 0, maybe outspun his speed sensor, though. We'll have to see if he gets going again in just a moment here. Strzezinski now along with Burton off the front still, but it's only 1 second. If it kept going out, I'd say they were going to hold on to this, but I think we're going to have a lead group of 5 men off the front in this A category. We do have the B category without overload relays right now, so things are going to change up just a second, but we want to make sure to be keeping tabs on them as best we can, and so we definitely like to cover multiple races out there for you, not just the A's. And up toward the front of the B category, we do see it is going to be Ancelar along with Einhorn. Bachelor's there with White, Klasky, Lambert, Herbert's there as well with Foxy, Termont, as well as Wilson Cannon. Large group there, it looks like, trying to chase down Ancelara, who's going off the front at 5.2. They might just let him go if he is over category limits. The expectation for that B category is actually that they would be able to hold 3.2 to 4.0 watts per kilogram. You can actually see the watts per kilogram that they have held throughout the duration of the race over at zwiftpower.com. I opened that up here over and there, and it looks like we do not have just yet an update for the most recent watts per kilogram they have put out. But I have a feeling perhaps that Ancelara might be just a little bit over category limit. I'm going to keep moving backwards though and see if we can find them, and we are back with them, and it looks like Ancelara actually got removed from the game or had a dropout, one of the two. I did hear something about maybe a culling of riders, or the ability to remove riders during a race that might be way over category limit and have been doing that too much. We'll have to wait and see if maybe that's what took place, or maybe there was just a dropout. I'm not for sure on what Ancelara had been holding. Give me a shout there off the front again. 7.5 watts per kilogram. Caught right back up to all these boys and is absolutely out of here. They're going to let him go. He can have fun off the front at 6.0 all day long. He's trying to catch up to Froome over in France right about now. He's got an ocean to cover still. With 4 seconds, though, he's going to get there pretty quickly with how fast that is going out. Palmberg now here, 3.6 watts per kilogram out of Norway. It looks like this is your lead group. 17 seconds back is going to be Turksma with Curly 2 seconds right behind him. This is going to be a battle now between Curly and Turksma. And Curly's got to find that extra effort at this point. 3.0 watts per kilogram. We gave him a ride on, and that's a feature in game if you haven't seen before. You can find next to the avatars here as you click through, you get a little thumbs up that you can give to the riders. It looks like I did give one to a lot of the riders already. Palmberg here now, I can go ahead and click this button, and as you can see above their heads, a ride on does show up. On their screen, they do get a little across the top. And Guerra, or Nathan Guerra, gave you a ride on that does go into their back pocket, actually, where they can see that and how many ride-ons that they've collected. It does look like Palmer does have 2 from some of those who are viewing his race in game right now. Looking through, we're going to see if there is any social media interaction. If you'd like to do so, you can bring in your questions and comments to us over at Z Community Live, at Z Community Live over on Twitter. Johnny Namba saying, what an international field at the front today. Love all the flags. Paul Robinson's asking, which course is this? This is 2 laps of the London Loops. They've finished 1 lap so far. About 9-second gap, it looks like, up to the front runners, as Turksma is trying to close that gap down, having a solid effort here. It looks like was dropped off on the climb. Looks like Curly's going to be in no man's land for a solo TT for a full lap. About a 25 to 26, maybe 24-minute effort, everything he's got, but he's going to have to temper it, maybe. Not go too much into the red in order to hold on and keep a high speed all the way to through, because Turnbull, along with Canson and Fleetwood, who all seemed like really disciplined riders actually out there, have kept it kind of chill. At this point, we are seeing Fleetwood with Casson there, 139 or so, trying to get back on terms with Curly. They may be able to grab another spot if they work well together. Curly's still at that 3.9 to 4.2. Going to be right on that edge of that 4.0 plus for the duration probably of this lap at his threshold, all out to try and chase down Turksman and hold off Fleetwood out there today. Turksman now still closing it down. 5 seconds is the difference, but he's given everything he's got at 173 beats per minute. Looking over at ZwiftPower.com, it is going to tell me exactly what this rider can hold for the duration of a, well, not exactly, but it'll give us an idea of what his max heart rate is, as well as what his FTP is. And it looks like out of the Netherlands here, we have 26 races for Bertus Turksma, 300 watt FTP. He won the Kiss America's actually 100 kilometer race this past weekend. That's a killer result, actually. 4.45 watts per kilogram. for the duration of that race. He does max out, it looks like, at about a 190, 189. We've seen him that high before, so he's got a few beats to work with, but not a whole lot. He's definitely right up into that threshold type effort right now in order to try and get back on terms with these boys up toward the front. With about a 300 watt FTV, though, this is an way over threshold effort at this point, so we'll see if he's able to get back on. He is going to. How many matches will he have left to hang on with these boys, though? I think he's really burned into some serious fuel at this point and might not have too many of those left to go with these boys up and over the top of Box Hill. We are seeing England maybe with a little counter or just kicking as they go into a slight uphill gradient. Now, those of you who might be just tuning in, this is Zwift Massive Multiplayer Online game training tool where riders are riding against each other in real time from all over the world. And if they have a smart trainer, this is something we haven't talked about yet in the broadcast here. If they have what's called a smart trainer, they're actually feeling the gradients as they go through the game. So in the upper right hand corner here, as you can see, 1.6, 2.0, 3.0 we saw for a moment there. It will go all the way into 6, 7, all the way up into 15 at times during this race. As they hit the hills, they will feel the resistance kick back at them actually from their trainer. Now, some might think it's a disadvantage for those who don't have that. It all depends on the skill set of the riders a lot of times. It does actually help a lot of times to have the force push against you in order to have a little bit more effort going into the pedals. A lot of times when I'm looking for some solid intervals out on Zwift, I'll head on over to Watopia Mountain and kick it up there for a solid 20 to 30 minute effort if I'm looking for some longer efforts, and I'll have the better power outputs actually. Now, it obviously is going to be more painful, and your RPE, your rate of perceived exertion, is going to go higher on a scale of 1 to 10, but your power output is usually benefit actually by having that force against you. So a lot of riders would say, oh, it's unfair that so-and-so doesn't have the resistance that I have, but in actuality, the resistance that you have actually kicking back at you a lot of times is an advantage rather than a disadvantage. The only disadvantage you might have with the smart trainer is if you don't shift quick enough on and anticipate the changes in gradients and really up that really up that speed on the smart trainer. When you do get into a downhill situation immediately after a climb, you might lose a little bit of power. Again, the most high-end, most accurate setup would be a smart trainer along with a strain gauge power meter. You get all the best of both worlds, as that force does kick back at you. You get the real world field as well as an extremely accurate power meter that will give you real-time readings of what you are putting out. Burton now kicking back here, 255 watts or so, 186, 185 beats per minute. Looks like that was an attack to try and drop Turksma off after he was off the back. Not happening. Palmberg has fallen off, though. It looks like he has bitten the dust now and unable to hang on with that groove. Give us some ride-ons encouragement, because he's got Curly here barreling down at him at 5.5 watts per kilogram right now, trying to get back on terms with a few of these places. Perhaps be able to catch Palmberg. 55 seconds is closable, but Palmberg's going to have to be in full-on nuclear mode, and Curly on fire to close down almost a full minute gap today. We are seeing the TFC over here at Twitter saying, our racer, Matthew Burton, thanks a lot for the tweet out at us. It looks like he says, TFC saying, our racer Matthew Burton is hoping for his breakthrough win in the KISS Road Race on Go Zwift, covered by Zwift Community Live. And thanks a lot for the link over to us as well. Come and watch and support him. Thanks a lot, TFC, for shouting out to Burton as well as to us over at the Twitter. And I do hope that Burton does have a breakthrough workout as well as a breakthrough race here. We do see him hanging on here with Iceman. Give me shelters off the front. He's not quite over to France just yet, but he is 27 seconds up and still hanging out on the London course. Looks like he's going to be able to hold these boys off, I think, up and over the top of Box Hill. England here, 4.2 watts per kilogram toward the front. No heart rate monitor, not sure how hard he may be working. Burton's at 165. Speaking of Burton, let's go ahead and see whether or not he's resting up, or if he has not a whole lot left in the tank. We have seen him go as high as 200 beats per minute. out on Zwift, but that was way back on November 28th, actually. Might have been just a fluctuation in the heart rate monitor by a beat or two. Looks like back on the 5th of May, he did a 198 beats per minute. Most recently, the highest heart rate, though, that we have gotten from him in the last month or so will be, well, interesting. All of his highest heart rates, actually, in the 187s, 180s or so, are back into May or so. Anything into June or these times is in that 185 to 183 as the highest he's gotten from. Maybe a change up in the heart rate monitor has something to do with the change up in that. We are looking through here. 630 was the last one he raced in. We did want to see, I'm sorry. We did see a 190 from him actually on the 30th for that fourth place. He actually kicked it up into one of the highest heart rates we've seen from him in that 196 for that second place in the KISS Europe race last week. Maybe he needs to just kick it into that 200. Come on now, Burton. Find those extra beats and make your way to the top of this box hill. Let's see if he's going to drop the rest of these boys off. I think that might be difficult, though. They were all able to follow to the finish. Will it be a sprint finish? Will it be a solo attack up over the top of Box Hill? Will there be a smaller group that makes it away? I am totally unsure. Burton and Szerzynski, the only riders I'm super familiar with, actually, amongst this group. The other three are kind of wild cards that I'm not super familiar with when it comes to their race results. I'm going to actually take a look here. England, along with, it looks like Palmberg. Palmberg has a few races, it looks like, but D. England out of the US of A, no past results, 5.1 watts per kilogram so far. Anderson, it looks like, not sure where he's at out on course, actually. He's showing up toward the front, but I'm not seeing Anderson in the race here. Maybe he's way off the front and just went from the get-go. But looking through, I do see he's actually 18.2 kilometers into the race, so maybe just getting registered accidentally there. But D. England, welcome to the world of Zwift racing. If you haven't done so already, make sure to connect your Strava, as well as head on over toward ZwiftPower.com and connect there as well with a sign up and login. And all of your racers will be registered over there. See, if you head on over to ZwiftPower.com, the reason I know that, you guys, is that all of the riders actually on the rider list over there either have a link on their name that give you all the past metrics and results from all the races that they've done out on Zwift, or they're just blacked out. And so it does look like we do have some new racers out on Zwift. Good to see them hanging out here. Iceman, though, let's go ahead and see what's going on with him, as I'm not super familiar. Henry Iceman, riding for Rue Riders. They're 368 watt FTP. He has won 1, 2, 3, 4. The last 4 races that Iceman has been involved in, he has taken the W, and we may have another dark horse out here absolutely able to smash this race, because D. England is going off the front 6+. He's been into that 5+ for the duration so far. Iceman's following very closely on that Tron bike there. That was actually earned by climbing 50,000 meters here. Iceman on the Tron bike, 152 beats per minute, trying to follow one of the last 4 races he involved himself in. He doesn't race quite as often as some of the favorites out there, but we do see back on May 30th takes a win in the PRS project, the P race as well on the 3rd of June. PRS project seems to be his favorite race, as he won that one as well on the 20th of June, and then he did a WBR 4-lap flat on the 1st of July and took the W there. This guy doesn't lose a whole lot for the last few races that he's done, so we'll have to see if he's able to keep that trend going, or if some of these boys out here like Burton, who's looking for his first win in the KISS Europe race, can have an answer to that. At 186 beats per minute, with the screws being turned up toward the front of this race, may be a difficult ask now. England, well over, I believe. We'll have to see if he's still well over into that 5+ watts per kilogram. He might get the Zada, hey, what's going on, tick next to his name. We'll have to see. Still into that 5.1. Still killing it, though, doing a great job. Doesn't say that he's on a strain gauge according to ZwiftPower.com. We'll have to see if that comes through correct. Sometimes ZwiftPower.com does register as a strain gauge. Other times it registers as a smart trainer, but it sometimes swaps up whether or not that is totally correct. But D. England here, 5.1. Iceman there, 5.2. Burton now off the back by 2 seconds. He might have to settle for third place today. Szerzynski following very closely there. See if these two riders can bring back Iceman and England, who are going off the front now, over halfway up over the top of Box Hill. They may be the lead group now that walks away with the race in the KISS Europe today. We are seeing, it looks like the Cycle Gym saying, clever, hope you have a large data plan, says the Cycle Gym. It actually doesn't take too much data to shoot out the races from well, I mean, it takes a high-speed internet, but it doesn't take too much to stream. There's plenty of people streaming from all over the world, grabbing plenty. Maybe that's because Johnny Knob is talking about something else there, though. Johnny, what are you getting at there? Did you not do at Z Community Live for whatever it was that they are replying to? As I'm not seeing the tweet prior for what he is talking about. Go ahead and shoot it at me. I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about as far as the data plan. I was wondering what was going on there for the data plan. I'm assuming that's about mobile then. Iceman now with a little bit of attack here out of Germany. 4.3, 4.8. It looks like England will be able to shut that down of the USA there. Szerzynski and Burton are still in contention. They haven't let them go too far. As you look at the bottom of the screen there, Burton, 2 meters now. Now kicking it right on by, actually. Here comes Burton, knowing that this may be a moment that he has to respond. But actually, 1 in the 92. I'm not sure he's got a whole lot more to work with here. And it looks like with 6 seconds out, Iceman and D. England do see the top of this climb coming into sight here. Now into that 5.352, trying to chase down this Froomy boy up toward the front there, along with England now right on the wheel. Now, England does not have a heart monitor on, so he will not be able to take the category win as well. So Iceman really is the only threat for that top spot. Burton, man, just cannot close down the gap. Szerzynski sitting right on his wheel, playing the smart card, just trying to salvage the best result he possibly can, perhaps, while he allows Burton to do the work on the front. 10 seconds is the difference, and it might just be letting that ghost go at this point, as I don't think Burton is going to see these boys again with that kind of a kick up on the top, already being maxed out on heart rate, and these boys still throwing down 7-8 watts per kilogram. 601 was the last time up over the top. I think they're going to better that perhaps with these kinds of efforts. The only hope now for those boys is they do get the tick next to their name for the 5.0 plus for the duration of the race. We will get an idea of what they've put out once they get through the banner here for 20 minutes. And it's actually not for the duration of the race. Excuse me. Over at zwiftpower.com, it actually gives you the 20, the 5, and the 5 second. 20 minute, the 5 minute, and the 5 second power actually on the live results. And so as soon as they come through the next banner, which should be this KOM, we will get a reading of what kind of power they've been able to put out for 20 minutes throughout the race. England has already been ticked over actually then for a relegation with that 5-1 plus, unless he is able to. He will get that now. He gets the relegation immediately, but he should keep on racing. He should keep on competing, keep on going for it, England. Great job out there. But he'll just have to submit some power files to say, hey, look, I can do over 5 watts per kilogram out there in the real world, to double check on those things. Iceman now going, it looks like 8.2 watts per kilogram. He's put out about 4.7, it looks like, for a 20-minute effort. Now kicking one more time up into thousands of watts as he kicks into, it looks like, 13 watts per kilogram or so. This rider wins a lot of them. Burton and Szerzynski still have hope, though, I think. From my perspective here, there may be some eyebrows raised from the race organizers, and we'll see if they ask for anything from the riders here for the results to be in the permanence of ZwiftPower.com. Turksmay here now out of the Netherlands, hammered away 4.4 watts per kilogram, 160 beats per minute. Looks like he's still got Szerzynski and Burton within his sights, may be able to pull things back in. Szerzynski now with a little bit of a kick as they hit the last little kicker over Box Hill, 8.3, 8.2 watts per kilogram. Burton now able to follow. He's using that drafting power-up. This power-up actually makes it so that it's easier to hold on to the wheel that's in front of you. Looks like he will do just that, matching the 8 watts per kilogram there of Strzezinski fading, though. Burton, does he have anything left? He's going to have to kick it up, shift up, and go if he wants to get rid of Strzezinski. Strzezinski, though, able to grab right back onto the wheels. We look at his 7 meters, though, race of meters here. He does grab that draft, though, on the downhill, and this will still be a battle here for third place out on course. Does look like we still have Gimme Shelter out on this continent, but Iceman here still trying to close things down to him. Only 11 seconds, actually, to the Power Ranger up front there, 164 beats per minute coming from Iceman. England now has been dropped off. Is that actually a full minute 16 at this point? That has gone out actually huge at this point. It is 44 seconds. I'm not sure Burton and Strzezinski put that kind of an effort in. 44 seconds is absolutely huge with only about 2 miles to go to the finish line today. 5.2 from D England for the duration. Iceman 4.7. We are seeing Gimme Shelter 4.9 only, which is interesting. Very consistent, but not too high on the power output. As far as the spikes go, I have a feeling he's just not spiking quite as high as some of the other riders actually out on course in order to get the. Also, though, there is the raw power reality out there, so I think he's just putting out some crazy raw power in order to be able to grab onto this result today. Iceman now, it looks like, sitting in second place, followed by D England in third. Burton and Strzezinski fourth and fifth, fighting for those top 5 spots that will all be dealt with, though, over there. Big up, Nathan. What's going, Matcha? Good to see you. These boys are out there ruining themselves there, Matcha. Good to see Matt. Big Matt, you guys. So Big Matt was in Iceland with me. This guy knows how to suffer on a bike, and it's really good to see you there, man. I spent 36 hours in a van with this guy and with 8 other guys, too, all hammering away around Iceland for the WOW Cyclothon in a team relay race, actually. It was absolutely insane. We're out there putting in 20-minute efforts twice on our shifts during a 2-hour period, over and over and over again, and then taking a little rest and going back out there. But good to see you, Matt. These boys are ruining themselves. And it looks like the Gimme Shelter is out here just decorating everybody. Not sure he's ended himself too much. I have a feeling he's just beginning. And he's going to be chasing down the Froome man. Iceman there now here at 4.8, though, going for the win. Followed by D England, though, at that 4.3 watts per kilogram. Strzezinski there with Burton. Nobody's holding it nobody's really holding it at that steady 305. It looks like for the win here, it's just going to be Strzezinski and Burton hammering away. No steady efforts, all up and down. Our friend Arbor would not be too happy about this situation, I have a feeling. Not doing it right along as at least how you do any kind of epic climbs if you did visit any beautiful places. 305 is the only way to do those. As you see, we don't have any epic climbs here, so it's definitely going to just be more of a dynamic race. 9.8 watts per kilogram here coming from Strzezinski as he's kicking into Burton. Can't quite drop him off. Turn the screws a little bit. Burton, though, with the continuance, not going to go much of anywhere as Mr. Peter Strzezinski is able to hold on to that wheel. That's going to be the battle right here that we're going to be paying a lot of attention to as they come to the line. Iceman, though, 4.5 watts per kilogram out of Germany, has a 119. He's absolutely killed it and walked away from the rest of the group with the ride on up over his head. A little bit of encouragement coming through here. England, I think, has actually ended himself. He just went down to 0.8 watts per kilogram here. Full on nuclear, no heart rate monitor. And this boy, it looks like here, is just trying to crawl to the line compared to what he was putting out before. 5.2 plus watts per kilogram is what he put out for a solid 20 or more. So definitely, with only 22 seconds over these chasers, he's going to have to pay attention here. Turksma, though, what an effort. I didn't even see him coming. And all of a sudden, this is a 3-up sprint as Turksma has chased these boys down. The Dutchman here, 3.4, pulling at the front now, 156 beats per minute. I have a feeling he might have a solid sprint, too, to make this happen. So it's going to be the Netherlands versus Poland right along with Great Britain, with Burton looking for that third place out there today. England 4.8 at the front, 17 seconds up. We are seeing an attack here from Turnbull, trying to get back on terms with Palmberg. Palmberg there out of Norway might be able to hold him off, I think, though. 21 seconds. It is closable, but he's going to have to put out over a watt per kilogram or more in order to chase that down. We are seeing 6.5, though, 155 beats per minute, so it may happen. Szerzynski, now they're coming into the final K here. We've got England off the front, 20 seconds, not going to be caught. Burton now taking the front of this group, says, I don't care. I am going to suffer. I've got 20 beats to work with. What do you guys got? 8, 9 watts, 10 watts per kilogram. Goes from way out. 300 meters to go, and he's already attacked. Szerzynski trying to follow there. Has the watts to give, but it is 8 meters is the difference. Can Burton hold on to those 8 meters? We see the gap. There is no draft at this point, so it is no advantage to the rest of the riders. Turks has been caught off guard, and Burton with what a move there. Usually the TFC boys have the sprint, but Szerzynski's got continuance, and he nips him right at the line. I thought Burton was going to hang on to it, but great job to Peter Szerzynski. What an effort there for fourth place. Burton's giving the slam of the handlebars right now, and a little throw of the arms in the air. He went from way out. He wasn't leading them out, actually. He had enough of a gap, but it ended up not being quite enough, as Szerzynski had the continuance at 11 plus to get across that line first. So looking back here, Konebear logging in. Good to see her, Carrie Konebear, one of the CVR participants, actually, BRT team riding in the XRS, it looks like, today. Good to see her out there for a participation in that B race. She actually qualified for the CVR event actually through racing out on Zwift with that racing. So good to see her out there getting some more racing in and bettering herself through the power of cycling. So cycling, the Cycle Gym and Johnny Noblin having a little conversation over on Twitter in relation to our broadcast and watching it on the mobile here, and how much data plan it's going to be using. Palmberg across the line there, it looks like. Turnbull able to hold off, it looks like. Grimshaw 13 seconds. Fleetwood here battling out with Curley, and then Casson is there as well. If you're unfamiliar with Zwift, I have a feeling we might have a few questions coming through over at the Mixer channel. We do have a few, it looks like. How's it going, Zasalu? Brian's Gamer, how good to see you as well. SMG, how's it going? Good to see you. Jack, we were saying, I'm good. How you doing over at the Mixer channel? Thanks for your information. I will let you know. Dan D is saying he was looking for a bunch of information on what is going on with Zwift and how to get involved with this. So it looks like there's a sprint opening up here. Fleetwood putting out that 500 plus watts, but Curly's got 10 watts per kilogram to give. So 175 beat sprint. It looks like the Vision Cycling Rider unable to pull it off, and it looks like Australia here in the early morning is able to grab another spot within the top 10. If you are just tuning in, I'm going to give you guys a quick little perspective here of what you are looking at actually for Zwift. Zwift did a nice little promo video that gives us a great idea of, and gives us some nice visuals here of exactly what is happening with these riders. Go ahead and you can log into the games. You can see Eric Min doing there, jumping on his bike, pairing with the game, and able to actually push that power. As you can see, all the metrics that are coming through right there that are on the screens. E. Jones there hammering away, and now you can see the gradients that she is feeling there from being out on her smart trainer. They're all out on the course here. They do meet up at one point during the video here and battle it out for the jerseys actually out on course. You can grab different accomplishments actually on the course. There's a ride-on feature as well, and now they did hit the KOM. This is on the Watopia course. As you can see, the live racing above me is actually in London. There is workout mode being highlighted there. It's actually a completely different user interface that you get, that you are able to be given intervals as well as certain power outputs to have to hold in order to complete the workout in each section of the workout. Now it looks like Eric and these couple girls are going to battle it out for the KOM jersey up and over the top of the climb, and they're trying to look for the fastest time they possibly can up and over the top here. Can you create your own player? Each player can change their in-game avatar through earning different levels. So just like unlocking levels in another MMO, you would be able to grab different aesthetic changes actually to your avatar by by upgrading through levels, by riding more and more in the game, or by completing missions in the game. Looks like Aaron didn't make it over the climbs today in the Pyrenees. Ouch, no, that's not good to hear there, Zwift Community Live. Wonder what's going on with that. I can go ahead and show you real quick over at Mixer channel. We do have some questions coming through, so I'm going to go ahead and just, we are done with our coverage of the A race. Let's jump into the B race here really quickly and see how this is going to play out. It does look like it's going to be Jay Einhorn along with Bachelor off the front. This is actually a pretty good battle here. I'm going to be off screen for just a minute, but you're able to see here at least what the screen looks like for the riders without any of our overlays out there. Except for the back to me button is there because I'm not on my avatar. We cover that up usually with our overlay here. But Bachelor here battling it out, it looks like, with Einhorn. 2 off the front now. And we are seeing, it is not PC only. It is actually PC, Mac, and iOS. And it is moving into Android eventually. It is in the works. I did see and meet some of the guys that are working on that over at the Zwift offices in Long Beach, actually. Bachelor here now along with Einhorn. They've got that 1 second gap, it looks like, with VCE Meta. We are seeing Ancelara there as well, able to get right back on terms. So this is the 4 riders. Ancelara must have had a dropout as he's back into the race there. No hurry monitor from him, though. Bachelor there, 162. This is going to be a battle for the top 4 now. 40 seconds back will be Klasky Lambert. So he will not be involved, but he'll be looking for the 5th place and be able to hold on to it. Looks like Termont might have had a rough day today. Usually one who takes a solid spot in the B category. Not going to be able to do so, it looks like here. Bachelor now, Jay White. Bachelor going off the front there, 4.6 watts per kilogram, 166 beats per minute, 378 watts. That's a killer effort right now. And he's trying to go from way out and just hold on. Again, B category riders, 4.0. is going to be right at the limit of their threshold, actually. So definitely going to be a difficult day here for him to hold on to this, as I'm expecting a full-on orange number sprint. But 6.2 watts per kilogram, it looks like he can hold on. Maybe. Nobody's able to have that draft on him. There is drafting in the game. Einhorn with the kick, though, 8.1 watts per kilogram, able to get back on terms with the front of the race. Perhaps Bachelor trying to hold on. But Einhorn has the crazy 8.1 watts per kilogram. Crazy low heart rate there, though, too. Maybe just beating low. We'll have to see here. And as they come across the line, it looks like Bachelor made the move just perfectly. Followed up by Einhorn, I believe, will be the finishing order. Solid effort there from the riders. So real quickly here, let's go through the results over at zwiftpower.com. You can see all of the live results actually over there. Should have sharpened my elbow there, Matthew Burton says. Joe Lindner, good to see you over at the Facebook as well. Looking through the results, then it will be Gimme Shelter goes off the front and chasing Froome. We will have as well Dalford, England, actually, out of the USA at 5.0. Is going to grab a relegation, though, at 5.0, so he's going to have to submit to ZwiftPower.com, Zada, excuse me, and get those power numbers verified at that 5.0 for 20 minutes. Peter Szynski then will take the win, just nipping Burton right at the line. Burton, that was for that win. Oh, my goodness, as the rest aren't showing up right now. Turksma took third. Man, Burton, it was right there. I see you in the cast. I know that you're kind of kicking yourself for not able to grab that win that you've been looking for. Looks like Peter's been looking for one for a little while as well, so solid job to him. Steinhardt, Baumberg, followed by Mark Turnbull. That's your top 5 today. Unless England does submit to Zada and grabs those verifications for being able to do 5.0 for the duration of 20 minutes. Russell Bachelor then takes the category win in the B category, followed by Josh Einhorn and then Matthew Ansell. So that will be the results there for the riders. Now let's go ahead and go back real quickly. We had some questions over at Mixer about being able to dress up your riders. If you go ahead and go to your avatar and you click the T button, as you can see here, you can actually outfit your riders with different additions, as well as open up all kinds of kits in the game. As you can see here, some of these were opened up through, I actually have the Rafa Women's there as well in the classic. World Bicycle Relief here, Richmond 2015. These are all different things. Level jerseys as well. These are all the jerseys you open up through levels. ATOC 2017, 100 kilometers completed in game, a full century completed in game. That's 100 miles. Lots of different things you can open up by doing different accomplishments. You can also then open up all different kinds of bikes through the levels as well as through different challenges in the game. One of the most sought after, though, and the fastest biking game would be the Zwift Concept Bike, which you are able, or the Tron bike that we like to call it, that you are able to open up through riding the 50,000 meter challenge actually out on Zwift. Let's get some gloves and socks on this guy here, and I think we're good there. No, we want a little bit of hair too. All right, so and then there's also some challenges that you can do. Let's go ahead and go back here. I want to skip over that. Okay, that's actually the pairing screen. And real quick here, for those of you who aren't familiar, the power sources that you have in your room, if I were to go ahead and get my bike in here and pedal on the smart trainer or on the power meter or on a speed sensor, it would pick that up actually in the game, and you would see your power sources here and be able to pair to the game. Your heart rate monitor would get paired as well. Cadence controllable trainer. There's also speed sensor and classic trainer. So these are the way. This is the way you pair, and you go through there to the next screen. Then real quickly here for the challenges we were talking about. You can open, this is how you open up other bikes in game. The Everstein here that we were talking about climbed 164,000 feet or 50,000 meters, riding 797 miles across California. Opens up a specialized bike. I believe this is the Dogma then as well, Pinarello, that you open up with the Tour of Italy with 1,242 miles. So lots of different things that you can do in the game of Zwift. We are waiting for this rider score to come on through for 851,000 there. Hey, John, not Johnny. Can I get some levels? Where's my gold? All right, boys and girls, thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, great job to all of the racers out there. I'm Nathan Guerra from Zwift Community Live. You can find us on Facebook. We just hit 5,000 likes on Facebook. Thank you so much, everybody, for all of your support and joining in with this community. Cycling live together. We do have broadcasts almost every single day, actually, on our spaces. If you want to see where all of our spaces are, ZwiftCommunityLive.com, Mixer, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, as well as Facebook. We are all over the place. Go ahead and find us. I'm just going to double check and make sure I didn't miss any questions before I take off, because I know a lot of them were coming through. How's it going, Elise? Good to see ya. I want to buy the game. Is it worth the money? Tricky Fella says over at Mixer. Definitely, I would say so. I've had the best fitness I've ever had in my life, as well as a lot of fun hanging out with this community. And that's one thing when it comes to games and digital communities over the last 20 years, I think that we've learned in the gaming industry, it's more about the community a lot of times when it comes to how much you enjoy it. And the Zwift community is one of the best by far as community support, being able to encourage each other, finding good groups that are trying to better each other through the power of cycling and the online platform of Zwift. So I definitely say so, Tricky Fella. I love it, obviously. You wouldn't see now, is this a humble brag? Am I gonna get the Fort Bragg here for, I mean, you wouldn't see this kind of time and miles from somebody, well, I guess without being too busy too, as well, to be riding as much as I do, but I'd say it's definitely worth it. All right, everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, great job to all of the riders. Next up on our schedule will be the Kiss Down Under race. There might be some surprise broadcast tomorrow as well. As always, everybody, ride on.